Hello friends and my dear students, welcome back to my channel Phoenix Physics. Today we are going to learn equation of motion under gravity. These are all kinematic equation. You know that kinematic equations are valid only if the motion is in a straight line with constant acceleration. One of the example for straight line motion with constant acceleration is the motion of an object near the surface of the earth. You know that acceleration due to gravity, that is G. Acceleration due to gravity is constant near the surface of the earth. And the value is 9.8 meters second power minus 2. I hope you know that. There are two cases given. One is a body falling from height h. Look at this diagram. One boy is standing on the hilltop. He drops one stone and the stone moves downwards towards the earth. This is the scenario. Assume that there is no air resistance, which means the particle is moving towards the earth due to earth gravitational force alone, means the object is said to be in free fall. Here acceleration due to gravity denoted as G. So this is acceleration for straight line motion. This is acceleration due to gravity. Here the particle or object is moving towards the earth, which means y direction. Here y is in the downward direction. So A can be written as A is equal to minus J vector. So what is this J vector? J vector is nothing but unit vector along the y axis. Okay. So acceleration is equal to minus J vector. Here we are considering only the magnitude. So how do you write A? A is equal to J vector. Or we can say acceleration due to gravity always downwards. So G acts only in the downward direction. So we are considering only the positive quantity. Or you take it as we are considering only magnitude. So A is equal to J vector. How do you write A vector? A is a vector quantity, right? So how do you write A in terms of components? Ax I vector plus Ay j vector plus Az k vector, that is equal to J vector. Compare the components. Here Ax is equal to 0, Ay is equal to G, then Az is equal to 0. So you take this component alone. Ay is equal to G, or you can write A. So instead of A, I am going to substitute G in this equation. These equations are called kinematic equations. Up to this clear? Suppose the particle is moving with initial velocity u. Here the initial velocity is u is equal to 0. But we are considering the particle is moving with initial velocity u. Now, how do you find out the velocity of the particle at time t? Consider the first equation, that is v is equal to u plus at. You know that v is equal to u plus at. Here u is the initial velocity. Instead of a, just substitute g. How do you write the first equation? V is equal to u plus gt. This is our first equation. Then how do you find out the position of the particle at the time t? If you want to find out the position or distance or depth, means we can take the second kinematic equation. What is that? S is equal to ut plus half at square. Here what is S? S is nothing but a distance. Here we are going to consider the position of the particle at time t when it is at a distance y from the hilltop. So this is our hilltop. We are going to find out the distance y from the hilltop. So instead of S you can substitute y, instead of A you can substitute G in this equation. So y is equal to ut plus half gt square. This is our second equation. The square of the speed of the particle at time t means you should take third equation. Here we have v square, the square of the speed of the particle. So you take this third equation. What is that? V square is equal to u square plus 2as. Substitute g instead of a, substitute y instead of s. So v square is equal to u square plus 2gy. This is our third equation. How do you get these three equations? By considering the particle is moving with initial velocity u. Suppose the particle start from rest, which means u is equal to 0. So u is equal to 0. Substitute u is equal to 0 in equation 1. So what is our equation 1? V is equal to u plus gt. This is our equation 1. Here you substitute u as 0. So v is equal to gt. This is our fourth equation. Similarly, substitute u is equal to 0 in equation 2. What is our equation 2? That is y is equal to half gt square. So substitute u is equal to 0 here. So the total term vanishes. So y is equal to half gt square. This is our fifth equation. Similarly, substitute u is equal to 0 in equation 3. Which is our equation 3? That is v square is equal to u square plus 2gy. So v square is equal to 2gy. This is our sixth equation. So how do you get 4, 5 and 6 equation? By considering u is equal to 0. We are going to calculate the time. The time t taken by the particle to reach the ground. Here instead of t you can substitute capital T. Instead of y you can substitute h. Substitute in equation 5. Which is our equation 5? This is our equation 5. So here instead of y I am going to substitute h. So y is nothing but a distance. Here h is also a distance. From this initial position to final position, the distance is nothing but our h. That is why instead of y I am substituting h. So h is equal to half g. Instead of t I am going to substitute capital T. So gt square. This is our seventh equation. So what is 2h? 2h is equal to gt square. Then t square is equal to 2h by g. T is equal to square root of 2h by g. This is our final expression. Look at this expression. Here t is directly proportional to height. So what is your conclusion? Greater the height, the particle takes higher time to reach the ground. I repeat, greater the height, the particle can take higher time to reach the ground, which means if h increases, the time also increases. Next we are going to calculate the velocity of the particle to reach the ground. Consider equation 6. From equation 6, instead of y, you can substitute h. So how do you write equation 6, v square is equal to 2gh. I am just substituting h instead of y in equation 6. So v square is equal to 2gh. Then what is v? V is equal to square root of 2gh. This is also one of the important relation. Here also v is directly proportional to h. If h increases, v increases. Or we can say the object falling from greater height will have greater velocity. I repeat, the object falling from greater height will have higher velocity to reach the ground. This is our conclusion. Finally, one definition is given for free fall. I already said, if there is no air resistance and the particle is moving towards the earth only due to earth gravitational force alone, means the object is said to be in free fall. Same definition is given. Here the motion of the body falling towards the earth purely under the force of gravity alone means the object is said to be in free fall. The one condition is given. Here h is very much less than r. What is this r? R is nothing but radius of the earth. So this h is nothing but the distance between initial and final position. In this derivation, we derived two equations. One is for time period, that is t is equal to square root of 2h by g. Another one is velocity. The terminal velocity v is equal to square root of 2gh. These two equations are very important. We can apply this formula in problem also. Case 2. Here a body thrown vertically upwards. Look at the diagram. Here the boy is throwing the ball in the upward direction. So the ball is moving like this. After reaching particular height, again the ball is moving downwards towards the earth. This is the explanation for this diagram. Here, suppose if you throw the ball in the upward direction, means the body is moving opposite to our earth gravitational force, right? So here A can be taken as minus g. Suppose the object moves vertically downwards, means A is equal to plus g. Here the object is moving against our earth gravitational force. So here earth gravitational force always acts downwards like this. So this is our gravitational force direction. But here the object is moving against our earth gravitational force. So we are denoting A is equal to minus g. Important condition is there is no air resistance. How do you calculate the velocity of the particle at time t? Consider the first kinematic equation, that is v is equal to u plus at. Here instead of a you can substitute g. So v is equal to u minus gt. This is our equation 1. How do you find out the position of the particle at time t? If it is position or distance, you should take second equation. So what is our second equation? S is equal to ut plus half at square. Instead of s, you should substitute y. Instead of a, you should substitute g. So s is a distance, y is also a distance. So y is equal to ut minus half gt square. This is our second equation. Next we are going to calculate the speed of the particle. Speed of the particle at time t when it is at a distance y. So what is our, suppose the speed of the particle means we should take third equation. V square is equal to u square plus 2as. This is our third kinematic equation. In this equation, instead of a you should substitute minus g. Instead of s you should substitute y. S and Y both are distance. So V square is equal to U square minus 2GY. This is our third equation. How do you get these three equations? By considering the particle is moving with the initial velocity u. For this case 2 also you can derive the time period t formula and velocity v formula. I hope this video is useful to you. If you like my video, please share and subscribe my video. Thank you.